Have you ever found yourself over-analyzing a text that you have received or the situation that has just happened, the dialogue with your partner or friend? Or did you find yourself needing constant reassurance? All these signs might be signs that you have an anxious attachment style. And in this video, we're going to discuss these 7 most common signs of this attachment style. By the way, I have just published my book, Understanding and Overcoming Anxious Attachment Style. So I encourage you to check it out on Amazon because I share a lot of interesting insights and tools for overcoming this attachment style. But let's dive in today's topic. The first sign of this attachment style is the fear of abandonment. And this is the core of everything because it influences all other behaviors that we will discuss. So this fear of abandonment comes from inconsistent caregiving. So if your parents were sometimes loving and available and sometimes distant and not available, it might cause this belief that emotional security is not certain. And this creates an anxiety whether the loved ones will stay with us or whether they will leave us. From this fear of abandonment comes the core emotional wound, the subconscious belief that I am not good enough. I'm not good enough and people might leave me. And this belief might become really deeply ingrained in your subconscious and drive all your other behaviors. The other behaviors, like the second sign, that is constant need for reassurance. Do you find yourself asking your partner, do you love me still? Or are we good? These are common questions and fears of people with anxious attachment style. And this constant need of reassurance is a way you try to soothe your anxiety that's coming from the fear of abandonment. The third sign is overthinking and overanalyzing. So as I've said in the beginning of this video, you might be overanalyzing the text of your partner, for example, the situation that has just happened, the dialogue between the two of you, or between you and your coworker, you and your boss. You might interpret any small change in mimics or mood because people with anxious attachment style are very attuned to emotions of others. So this has the benefits and the disadvantages. The disadvantage is that this overthinking most of the time is unnecessary because there is nothing wrong in the relationship. But sometimes it is good because you might notice emotions of others more quickly, so you can use it to your advantage. The fourth sign of anxious attachment style might be the problem with setting boundaries. The reason why you are afraid to set boundaries is that you don't want to upset the other person. You don't want to disappoint them. And because of that, you forget yourself. You forget about your needs because you want to please them. And this might come in all relationships, not only in romantic relationships. Very often it's also visible at work. When, for example, your colleague asks you to help him with some task, and you, for example, don't have time because you have too much on your own to do, but you will not say no because you will not want to disappoint this person. And this kind of behaviors can even lead to burnout. So you really need to watch out for this. The fifth sign is the emotional dependency. What does it mean? It means that your mood depends on the other person. So if they are very attentive and loving, you will feel good. But if they are stressed by something, for example, and they are not so attentive to you, you might take it as a sign that something is wrong, and then your mood goes down. This emotional dependency arises from the belief that self-worth comes from the external validation. And the fear of abandonment just fuels this reliance because you might think that without this person, you won't be able to cope with anything. So straight away you might think that something is wrong and you're panicking because because you're worried that something is going to happen to your relationship. And this is the source of your self-worth. This brings us to the sixth sign that is connected with this, are the intensive reactions to disconnections. Even a small conflict can cause you an enormous distress, because you might interpret any small conflict as a potential end to the relationship. And this is because any small distancing is triggering your fear of abandonment. And because of that, you might react really strongly to small conflicts, even with a panic. And as a result of that, you might engage yourself in the protest behaviors. And this is the seventh sign that we are discussing here. Protest behaviors might be anything from silent treatment, excessive texting, for example, if your partner is not replying, or even testing their commitment by trying to create jealousy or making them prove that they love you. And all these kind of behaviors are just a way to regain attention of your partner and to calm this fear of abandonment again. These actions are there to provoke a reaction of your partners, to show that they still care, that the relationship is good, and there is no problem between the two of you. But of course, most of the time, they have a reverse effect because they are not helping your relationship. So now we've discussed these 7 signs, and I just want you to remember that your attachment style is not for life. You can change it. And in the next videos, we're gonna discuss also tools that you can use to move from anxious attachment to secure attachment. By the way, I have a free tool to check your attachment style, so you can check it in the comments below.